I got a crazy question, and I'm going to answer it today. Um, I shortened it for the title, but this is the actual question. You're in New York City. You're in New York City, dead broke, homeless, and no one you can turn to. How do you go about making money wholesaling houses? That is a crazy question. Now, I am going to answer this question for the mere sake of someone sent it as a comment that I want your comment. So here is my answer. If I was in New York, homeless and dead broke, I would get a job. There's about a million jobs available out there. You can work at McDonald's, you can work anywhere. There's a huge shortage of minimum wage jobs, which now are paying 12 to 15 bucks. And I would save up $1,000. Right? Honestly, you can get that. You can honestly save it up. If you're homeless, you don't have any rent, you could probably save that up in 3 weeks if you wanted to work as much as you can, because there's a million jobs available right now. Unbelievable time to work now. If you want to work, save up $1,000. You got $1,000, then I would tell you to get a list of people that are likely to sell. So I would go. Actually, what I would do, I'll tell you what. If I really want to save my money, I would start a Propstream subscription. It would cost me $97. Right? I might even cancel it after $97. So I would take a Propstream subscription for $97, and I would get a list from Propstream in an area that I wanted to buy. So if you wanted to buy in New York City, maybe you're looking at Queens or the Bronx. I don't know, wherever the hell you want to buy. I don't know where you are, where you want to buy. And I would get a list of people that, let's say, are old, lived in the property a long time, maybe vacant, maybe absentee owners, all kinds of different lists you can get on Propstream. I've done videos on how to do that. I would buy that list. Then I would skip trace the list. So either in Propstream or with other ways to do it. There's a million places to skip trace the list. So the list will cost you $97 for a 1 month subscription. You can download a list of, let's say, 8,000, and you can go skip trace it. It'll cost you $800 or something. You'll spend under $1,000, maybe $1,200. Maybe you have to go to work for another week and save up some money. And you get this list of phone numbers, right? The first list you're going to get is only going to be names and addresses. Second list, after you skip trace it, is going to have multiple phone numbers. I would then take my cell phone, which I assume you have, and I would start calling. I would get a Google Voice number, which you can get from any Gmail account, free. And I would take that Google Voice number and I would start calling every single number on that list. And I would basically say, hey, I want to know if you're interested in selling the property. And I would then, apparently you have a computer, whoever asked me this, because you sent me a comment in YouTube, and I would keep track of it with a free Google sheet with a name, phone number, email address if they gave it to me, an address of the property, and all the notes of what they said. And I would keep track of all those people. And I would continue to call them. And I would spend all this time calling while I was still working and saving up some more money, right? And I think that if you really are homeless and you don't have any rent expenses or any expenses except for food, I would say you can probably accumulate $20,000 in 6 or 7 months. Now, during those 6 or 7 months, you're going to be calling people. Some of those people are going to tell you, hey, I'm interested in selling. And then I would take them through the whole script, which I offered to people to give, which is crazy because my script is so great. And I would qualify them. Now, if I found someone who said, I really want to sell, and I asked them price, and it looked like it was cheap based on Zillow, Trulia, Redfin, I would then call Michael Pinter, me. And I would say, hey, Michael Pinter, here's the story. Spoke to a seller, says he needs to sell, wants this amount. I think it's worth this amount. Interesting deal. What do you think? And then I would say, interesting. I think at $300,000 this is a deal, for example. If we have to pay more, it's a little tight. Then I would go back to the guy and I would say, hey, I don't want to waste anybody's time, but if we can get this for around $300,000, I think we may have a deal. And if the guy says yes, then I would call back Michael Pinter and I would say, Michael Pinter, go on this appointment and meet him. And if you were able to take a bus, assuming you don't have a car, unless you would say you're homeless, you're living in a car, you could meet me, or I could pick you up from your homeless encampment or wherever you live, and hopefully you don't smell so bad. Well, if you got a job, and that's the beginning of the story, I guess you don't. And then we would go to this seller, and I would show you what happens on a seller appointment. And if we bought the property, I would split it with you 50-50. I'm averaging close to $40,000 on the wholesale deal. So I would, if we close on that deal, I'd give you a check for if it's a $40,000 Wholesale, I'll give you a check for $20,000. Then maybe you can get a place to live, and you wouldn't be homeless anymore. That's a thought. Now, this is not as easy as I just made it sound. You're going to call a lot of people who are going to tell you to drop dead. Someone just told me they got told, jump in a pool of piranhas. I never heard that one before. I got told, die in a fire. That's pretty good. And in the beginning, you're going to feel a little uneasy about people that are going to reject you. Over time, you're going to feel much better about these things, and you're not going to care when somebody tells you to drop dead, or somebody gives you a lecture. Craig Helbeck just played me a tape of someone who told him called 1-800-Suck-a-Dick. That's nice. So you're going to call people. You're going to try to get to the bottom of whether these people really have a problem that you can solve by buying their property, whether they really don't want to list with an agent, right? And, you're going to have to push back on people, right? People are going to tell you, I want top dollar. And you're going to say, well, I'm an investor. I got to buy properties at a discount to make a profit. We're probably not a good fit, right? And a lot of those people are going to say, F you and goodbye. And that was good because you just saved a lot of time. And some of those people are going to say, wait a second, I need to talk to you. And those are going to be the really good leads, right? When you push back on a lead and they come back to you, then you know something's good, right? One of the best deals I ever did, I told the person, this is probably not going to work. The property was listed for sale, and she goes, no, I need you to come. And that was a great deal. So you need to be able to get comfortable on the phone. It's going to take time. You're going to suck at first. I sucked at first. Everyone sucks at first. But if you have a big enough list, let's say a list of 10,000, 8,000, something like that, you go through those phone numbers. A lot of them are going to be wrong numbers. Remember, when you get a list, we all have this dream that we buy a list and almost everyone's going to answer the phone and tell us, I need to sell for any price, anytime. That's not what's going to happen. What's really going to happen is most of those phone numbers that you get after a skip trace are going to be wrong numbers. Most of the right numbers are going to be people that don't even know what the hell you're talking about, that aren't affiliated with the house. Most of the people that have the house aren't going to want to sell. Most of the people that want to sell don't want to sell to an investor. Most of the people who want to sell an investor aren't going to sell to you. You're trying to get in that whole thing of 10,000, which should last you 6 to 9 months, one deal in the beginning. Now, not just one lead. You're going to get a bunch of leads. And those leads are going to need to be followed up on. You're going to need to call them every month. You're going to need to stay on top of them. Or maybe they'll tell you, I'm going to sell in the spring. They tell you, call me in 6 months. Cut it in half and call them in 3 months. You're going to follow up with them constantly, right? If you're homeless, you got plenty of time to do this, right? Got no problem. Even if you're working at McDonald's for 8 hours a day, or maybe you're doing 2 shifts to save up money quicker, whatever. Find the time, call for people. I did a video on how many hours a day. I would say call for 2 hours a day on weekdays, 4 hours a day on 3 hours a day on weekends, 16 hours a week. 16 hours a week should get you 2 leads a week over time. Doesn't mean every 8 hours you get exactly 1 lead. Sometimes you get more, sometimes you get less. I think 16 hours a week should, when you get a little better, should get you 2 leads a week. 2 leads a week. Maybe you need 30 leads in the beginning because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Maybe 40 leads should get you a deal. So 40 weeks, is that right? It's about right. Something like that. Yeah, it's about right, 6 to 9 months. So that is what I recommend. If you're homeless and broke, you are one of the luckiest people in the world because you live in the greatest freaking country in the world. And in this country right now, they want to hire people like nobody's business. So you can go get a job, save up some money, stay in a shelter. There's plenty of shelters for you to stay in, and you can save up $1,000 pretty quick, few weeks, and then follow the steps I told you. We are, if you can hear me and you're watching this on the internet, you are one of the luckiest people in the whole freaking world. You have internet access. You live in the United States of America. We're in May, a great month to be alive, and you have every freaking opportunity in the world. You are one of the luckiest people. The poorest people in our country are some of the richest people in the world. There are billions of people that are envious of you, and you should thank God on this amazing coming up Memorial Day weekend to thank the people who died for us, for our freedom, and thank God that you live in the greatest country in the world, because if you follow my steps, I promise you, you'll be in a better situation. I hope this was helpful. If you're interested in all the ways I can help you, go to howtoflipnewyork.com. If you're interested in finding out more about one-on-one coaching, go to coaching.howtoflipnewyork.com. howtoflipnewyork.com. What else? If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're watching on any media channel, please click the thumbs up. The likes really help my SEO, my search engine optimization. And please keep the comments coming. I post 5 times a week. I don't always know what to say, so I ask of you to please ask any question. Does not have to be about the video you're watching. And I'll try to get back to comments within a day or two. If it's something simple, I'll just reply with an answer. If it's something I've covered in depth before, I will send you links to a video or multiple videos on it. And if it's something new, because this was a new one, never heard this question before, then I will do a new video on it. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really, really appreciate it.